ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're here. This is your state delegation from Quincy. I'm joined here by Bruce Ayers, the representative from District 1, and Tackey Chan, District 2, and I'm Ron Mariano. I'm representing the 3rd Norfolk District here in Quincy. And we're here to talk about our favorite state invention, and it's called the circuit breaker. It's an opportunity for all you folks at home to actually get money back from the state. I know, pick yourself up off the floor after that statement, but it is possible. It is possible to get money back from the state in varying amounts for up to 3 years, which to me is one of the great programs that our minds have come up with in our time in state service. And it's there for you folks to take advantage of it. And the one thing we all agree in is that if you don't take advantage of it, then you're just leaving money on the table. And it's unfortunate. And we have our expert who has all the numbers representing the Department of Revenue. And this is when the audience usually boos and hisses. They say,
it's okay. I'm tough.
Thank God you are. Thank God you are. Because the explanation is pretty simple, and we will keep it as direct and as easy as possible so that everyone understands there's help available for you if you need it. And if you can tackle it yourself, it's a pretty simple process, and we're gonna turn it over to you and have you just go through the rudiments of
course,
getting it on the table and out in the mail.
Well, thank you for the invite to come out and talk about this tax credit for seniors. Very important. A lot of people do benefit by it, not only in Quincy but statewide. So, as the speaker mentioned, this is a state tax credit intended for seniors when their real estate tax together with their water bill starts to become a kind of a burden. And that's where the circuit breaker concept was introduced. It's kind of a crazy name. You know, I wish we could just call it the senior real estate tax credit. People would know what we were talking about, but that's not my decision. So the credit, again, is really designed once people get to be 65, so that's the first eligibility issue. If you file together with your spouse, as long as you file a joint return with us in Massachusetts, as long as one spouse is 65 or older by the end of the tax year, by December 31st, then if the numbers work for you, you're still in the running. There's some income eligibility as well that we should talk about. If you're single, your total income, in order to qualify for this tax credit, if you're single, your total income has got to be under $75,000 for tax year of 2025. If you're married filing together with your spouse, your total income has got to be under $112,000 last year. And some folks file as head of household because they have a dependent person living with them in their household. Could be a relative, and they're providing more than 50% of financial support for that dependent person. If that's the case, the qualifying income there is $94,000 last year. Sometimes when we talk about taxes, a lot of times, as the speaker mentioned, people just kind of like gloss over and they want to, what's the next topic we can go to? But this is really worthwhile paying attention to, and it's very straightforward. It's not complicated. I know sometimes people think taxes, it's involved and too much for them. But really, it's pretty straightforward. If you're watching at home, what you want to do is bundle up all of your income that you had, let's say for tax year 25. And when I say all of your income, I really mean total income. So you're going to include your bank interest, any distribution that you might have from a pension plan. You're going to include your Social Security benefit as well. Sometimes there's a little confusion around Social Security because the state doesn't tax Social Security. And we're not going to tax Social Security just because you may be eligible for the credit. But the idea there is we're trying to get really a true picture of your income to see who really kind of needs assistance paying their real estate tax and their water bill. What you want to do is bundle up your total income, take 10% of that amount. That's half the equation right there. We're halfway. The other part of the formula or the equation is to take the real estate tax that you paid, you're able to add half of your water and sewer bill together with your real estate tax. By adding half of your water and sewer bill, we're trying to boost the credit for you. We're trying to increase that, trying to help you out a little bit with that. And this credit is in place once your real estate tax, together with half of your water bill, water and sewer bill, becomes greater than 10% of your total income. So I might use an example. I might say that my total income was $40,000 last year. 10% we know is $4,000. This credit will help someone out when their real estate tax, together with half of their water and sewer bill, becomes greater than that $4,000. And I just picked a number, just random. Everyone has different income. Everybody pays different real estate tax. Everybody pays different water bill. So everyone's credit is going to be different, honestly. The maximum credit for tax year of 2025 is up to $2,820. So pretty generous. The funding for this is allocated through the state legislature. Our reps and senators make sure that within the state budget that this money is allocated. It's been in place for many years, and we assume that it will be in place for many years to come.
Well, let's hope so. Well, we all hope so. The three of us hope so. Because this is a tremendous benefit for seniors that are struggling to stay in their home. Mm-hmm. and a little bit of a brief history. People may wonder why the amalgamation of different credits to get to the number. And this was created, I think, for those of us who have been around for a while, and fortunately or unfortunately, that includes me. This goes back to when the MWRA was being created. And we were looking at sewer and water bills that were astronomical, because we built the MWRA without any federal money, mm-hmm. which is really an amazing testament to the creativity of the Massachusetts taxpayers. But we did come up with this plan. This was a plan to really help seniors. And so it's worked. It's worked. It's allowed people to stay in their homes a lot longer than they probably would have if they had to pay the top rate. So
yeah,
it works. I think the other thing we can mention, we might as well mention it here, is you can go back 3 years.
Exactly. Right.
So that's a significant part of money if you can.
That's so true. If you're learning about the tax credit today and you would be eligible for tax year of 25, I know everyone's working on their tax returns for 2025 year. If you've been 65 for the past few years, you want to look back. The tax years is still eligible or in the running, I'd like to say open, a tax year of 2022, 2023, and 2024. So you can be total of 4 years that you might be able to benefit by this. If you're curious, sounds like I might be eligible. Did I get this last year? You could look at your state tax return from the past couple of years. If you look at line 44 on your state tax return, that's where the circuit breaker credit amount would appear. If you have an amount on line 44 of your state return, you got the credit. Also within your package of information, you get your federal return, your state return, lots of papers and schedules there. Schedule CB would be enclosed as well. Schedule CB is where you actually do the calculation to determine the amount of your credit. Again, everyone's credit's going to be different. Schedule CB is really like a worksheet that's going to put you through the exercise that we talked about. Add up your total income, 10%, add up your real estate tax, add half your water and sewer to that, compare the two. So that's, if you have the Schedule CB within your information, then that would help you determine if you got the credit. If you go to a tax professional to have your tax return done, I would feel pretty comfortable that they calculated the credit, if you were eligible, that they calculated the credit for you. The credit has been around for many years. For someone that does taxes for a living, they should be very familiar with the credit. And if you feel that maybe you could ask them for a little more advice, or ask them if you got the credit in past years, if you think that you might have been eligible, they could help you with that.
You make it sound so simple.
It is. It really is. It's not that difficult.
Well, we again do urge people to look this up and see where they are on the eligibility chart, because it is a significant amount of money, and I can't stress the fact that if you've been 65 for 3 years, and you can be walking into a sizable amount of money that will make the year a little bit brighter going forward. So.
Right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No. It also remind folks that you don't have to be a homeowner. You have to be a renter.
point, yeah.
And then certain types of renters, they also don't qualify.
Right.
So what is like 50% of the rent you pay?
We would compare, the income measure is the same, 10% of someone's total income, and we're going to compare that to 25% of the rent that someone paid during the year. If 25% of your rent is greater than 10% of your income, you'd be eligible for the credit, provided that you're not living in any type of subsidized housing arrangement. The idea there is if you're in a subsidized rental arrangement, that you're already getting some type of benefit or discounted rent, and therefore you wouldn't be eligible for the circuit breaker credit through the Commonwealth of Mass.
Well, as Ron was saying, our seniors, and we hear from our constituents, Quincy has a large population of seniors. They're all they're struggling. They're living on a fixed income. Their healthcare costs go up, utility costs, other costs go up, and this is a significant amount of money that can help people age out in home. I know one resident that had taken advantage of the program, used the money to make her home a little bit more user-friendly. She had some modifications done to her bathroom for safety equipment and a wheelchair ramp. And the goal, again, is to allow our seniors to live at home independently. So it can be used for a lot of resources that they might not be aware of, of the return.
Right.
That's a great point, because as people age, and speaking of someone who's going through that now, and had a little tumble down some stairs recently, safety adjustments around the house become more and more necessary. And you don't always have that savings to dip into to get these things done to protect yourself. And so consequently, this is a great source of income that may be on the table for you. And again, if you don't investigate it, then you've wasted an opportunity.
And Bruce pointed out correctly that this particular program is tied to inflation. So
Great point.
So you may not have qualified last year, but you still should check this year, because given the height of inflation and the program adjusts for inflation, you could find yourself with a windfall unexpectedly, even though you may not have qualified last year.
Excellent point. And even, maybe if the numbers didn't work quite for you this year, this will be in place going forward. So now that you're aware of it, you want to watch for that in coming years, if you're able to benefit, that you take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people along the way that are living on Social Security, which is very difficult for them. And the idea here is really to help someone as the costs increase, as the rep said. Most seniors are on a fixed income, and becomes kind of an imbalance. And this credit is in place to try to help someone out as their expenses increase, but yet they're on a fixed income.
Yeah, it's the struggles that we all face eventually. So, but again, I can't stress enough that the amount of mail that we received when we first began this program many years ago. I think it was the first year where we hand mailed the invitations to watch us on cable TV, which was using snail mail to get into the mainstream. It's been greatly accepted, and every year we all three of us get letters. I don't know, Brian, if you get letters, but
Not so many.
but we get letters about how important this program was to getting people involved in this program, and they appreciate the money that appears to come from out of nowhere, because they don't plan on it. They didn't put it away. They weren't scrimping to create an account. All of a sudden,
There's always something better to do.
yeah, that's right. And now, when you have to face that task, it's time to do my taxes. There's still an opportunity you could get something back. So it's.
And now that it is tax time, there is free tax assistance available.
Yeah.
Did you want to mention that?
Yeah, the one in Quincy is Quincy Community Action Programs, QCAP. If you make $67,000 or less, they can help you with your taxes. They're just right in Quincy Center, but it's by appointment only. So you actually have to call them up. It's 617-657-5345, 617-657-5345. You do have to be a Massachusetts resident. And certain things it won't do in terms of taxes, in terms of more complicated components. But if you ever get Social Security, very basic income, or pension, that's something it can help you with if you make less than $67,000.
That's important, because tax time can be a stressful time, especially if you're not familiar with filing the taxes.
Even for me.
I think for everyone, again, we had a senior contact the office, and her husband had passed away, and he was the one who always managed the books, took care of all the paperwork, and she was in a position now where she needs some help. And as Tackey alluded to, there's resources out there. There's people you can turn to that can give you those resources that are available. QCAP, NeighborWorks, AARP, they're out there. So, they can contact our offices, and we can be a liaison to those offices. But I think the key thing is to call those organizations early, so that they can get an appointment to get in there and take advantage of the free service.
Anything that's free
Yeah.
and beneficial fills up fast. So that's good advice as too.
Well, I'm my mom's free tax service, so if I can figure this out, I think most people can.
It's quite an mission.
Important point, though, you do need to file a state tax return in order to benefit by this. And with your state tax return would be Schedule CB. I bring that up because sometimes people tell me along the way, I don't think this applies to me because I don't have a need to file a state tax return. Again, we don't tax Social Security in Massachusetts, and some people, they have lower income and no need to file a state return. However, if you benefit by the credit, you do need to file a state return together with Schedule CB, where you're going to do your calculation in order to benefit by the credit. So keep that in mind. Don't count yourself out. Sometimes people say, "Oh, that doesn't apply to me." It may, and it's worth paying attention to. We're going to provide you with the 800 number at the Department of Revenue where I work. And if you'd like to give us a call, when after you watch the program or you have further questions, we'll be happy to talk to you about it. We're also going to provide you with our website address where you can get forms if you need them. You could get, we have an online application where you can file your state tax return with the state for free. The program is called Mass Tax Connect, and you can find that on the DOR website. It's one way to go. The nice thing about the credit is it's refundable, which is unusual because most tax credits, if you're eligible, whether it's on the federal side or the state side, once you wipe out your tax liability with a tax credit, that's usually as good as it gets. It kind of ends at that point. Circuit breaker goes a step further in that if you have the credit, we're going to apply the credit to your tax liability if you have one to try to reduce that. The goal is to bring the tax liability to zero, right? But if you have excess credit remaining, or you don't even have a state tax liability to apply the credit to, whatever amount of your circuit breaker credit, you're going to get that refunded. We'll send you the check. We'll put the money in your bank account, however you want to go with that. So it's really worth paying attention to.
Brian, that is so important that there are a number of seniors who don't file a state tax return. And I guarantee you they just put the forms in the drawer and forget about it. And they don't know they're eligible. And if we do nothing in this program, we should alert everyone who has federal pension, federal
State pension?
Any state pension.
Yeah.
That they can still get money back. And it's counterintuitive to the way we do business in the state.
Right.
Usually someone's always looking to take something.
Right.
But we're really working to give money back into the hands of the folks that need it. Right. And I think that this is one of the few as a matter of fact, I would venture to say it's probably the only program that I could think of that we do this. And we do it to the extent that we do it. The numbers are pretty significant. And I think that a 3-year look back puts a lot of people in in a very comfortable situation when they go to pay their taxes. So.
Brian, can you talk to the residents about the point of contact? This time of year, I know there's a lot of scams where people might get a text message, an email that could be disguised as a DOR or IRS. If they reach out to an individual with tax questions, how is that done routinely? Mostly through mail?
Good point. We would never call someone out of the blue. So I would be very suspect if you got a phone call from the IRS or someone posing as the IRS or someone posing as the Department of Revenue, because we do not call people by phone. We would definitely send a letter if there's a concern or an issue or something that we need to talk about. Once you get involved with one of our folks, maybe you could speak on the phone back and forth, but that's never the initial point of contact at phone call. So be very suspect of that. Anyone that wants to help you out over the phone initially, I just hang up on. I don't even get into conversation with them.
There are a lot of people want to help you.
Right. Yeah.
As long as they can put one hand in your pocket.
And help themselves at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I don't know if anyone has anything else to add, but I just think that we've given you the opportunity to take advantage of this program. We've showed you how to do it. And we've left you some numbers, and there'll be numbers on the screen, I believe, after the program that will allow you to get help if you're intimidated by the process. And let's face it, many people are. They're afraid of the DOR and all those gigantic people you have collecting money that intimidate people.
We do have
scare
them.
people.
We do. Yeah. If we need them.
No, that's good to have.
Right.
But we are here to remind you that your state government is here to help. And this is one example of us providing a significant resource for you.
Just a couple of things I want to mention. I did mention our website, and if you go to the DOR website, we're going to provide you on screen. If you just type in the search field, circuit breaker, you're going to get all of the information related to this that you need. We have a video there. You can get the Schedule CB that you need, advice on how to file your tax return with us for free, again, through Mass Tax Connect. There's even a 12-page document about circuit breaker that talks about if you put your property in trust, you're still eligible. Doesn't mean that just because your property's in a trust that you're discounted. That's not the case. There are different types of trust, and again, we're kind of drilling down now on a little more detailed information. It's a 12-page document, but it does provide a lot of backup and support, more information than we're able to cover today in the program. The other thing, Rep. Chan mentioned AARP. So I know folks may be watching, not necessarily in Quincy, but AARP has a website as well. And if you go to AARP website, just in general, like you Google them, and you type in tax aid, you'll get a whole list of, they're going to ask you, where do you live? And they're going to provide you with sites in your area within a certain zone that they think would, that you would be able to access and get help. So I would pursue that. It's free help. They're very knowledgeable people. They've been doing taxes for years. They're well-trained. They work on equipment that's provided. They have a laptop that's provided by the IRS. So I would feel very comfortable in going to an AARP site, maybe usually like at Accounts on Aging locally. So that's a nice resource available.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Brian. And again, thank you for being here. You know, I was sitting here in I don't know how many years we've done this, but we've done it an awful lot. I was going to try and venture a guess, but I'm afraid I can't even think back that far. But I was thinking that when we began this, I think 3 out of the 4 of us had dark hair. I'm looking around now, and I said, the only one with dark hair is Tackey. And the reason I bring it up is because Brian has been very good working with us to schedule appointments and to be here personally. I think no one explains this as well as Brian. No one is as patient with the phone calls that we have to go through to arrange the 3 schedules to get the 3 of us here. on the same day and on time, which is not an easy chore. But Brian has always been patient and is always willing to come out and answer questions. And I, for one, am thankful for that. And whatever you decide, if you continue to come back, we'll be here.
We'll make it happen.
Well, I'm sure you will.
Right.
But we intend to be here. We think this is important. I think that all of us agree. We do get thank yous from folks, and it isn't often as a state rep you get thank yous for anything. So it is nice to get the thank yous, and I'll tell you, when people end up with a couple of $1,000 they mean it.
Right.
They mean it. They're not. They pick up the phone and they're very thankful.
It's a good point. So I always like to kind of finish the presentation with, share the information with your family, friends, and neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe you might have family, friends, and neighbors that might be able to benefit by it too. So make them aware of it. And we're just trying to spread the word and have as many people benefit by the credit as possible.
We'll keep supplying the money.
That's the main thing. We've got to keep the funds going.
Yeah, no, it is, and we are committed to the program. So it is something that we all believe in and will support. So it's I know we have 3 votes for it right here going forward. So. But again, Brian, thank you for all the time you've put in with us and making
pleasure.
this a reality. So
Thank you.
with that, we say to you folks, go get your tax returns. Circuit breaker. It is a sort of a misnomer, but it works, and you may be the beneficiary of the good works that come from filling out these forms. So with that, I guess we close for another tax season, which is probably our 15th or 16th, I think, something up there. So
April 15th.
yeah, April 15th is
Be
coming.
here soon.
Yeah. On that, we say good evening and look forward to everyone collecting money from the state.
It's a spirit.